Shabbat Shalom, saints, and happy Hanukkah. It is the fourth day here, and I am enjoying Hanukkah. It's awesome, 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 awesome to say the prayers. By the way, I did a video last week, and if you go to my website here, I did as I said I would do. And you just go to Wakefulness Theology, you click on the Holy Living Letters, and I put some new letters up here which I'll talk about later in this video series. But right here, if you scroll down, Spiritual Practice for Yahushua's Bridal Army, I put it right here. So here are the prayers we talked about in the last video. I explain a little bit more. Here's the prayers. Well, I write and explain a little bit better what I was trying to say in the video. And so here you go. If you're interested in that, it is there for you. Here are the Hebrew prayers. See, for example, you click here to listen, and it will take you to this website here. And if you want to listen, you just click right here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahiyot or lagoyim ve'natan lanu et Yeshua Hamashiach or haolam.
Yes, or haolam. So just so you know, that information is there for you. Okay, but today we're talking about the 2022 activation codes. It's a new series. The Holy Spirit has led me to start to understand some things, and so I want to try the best I can to explain it to you guys. It will take more than one video, so for the moment I think it will take me at least 3 or 4 videos to try to explain this. This is now the third time that I've received like really big messages, and it's very hard to decode. It's easy when it's interior. So for example, I'm living my life and I'm seeing these messages, and inside of me, in my mind, in my spirit, in my feelings, in my heart, I understand what God is saying. I just understand. It's an intuitive understanding, okay? But the moment you try to tell somebody else, you really start to see these moving parts, and it gets really complicated. So I can't even pretend like I understand the message that we will understand at the end of this video series now. It's just impossible. Now I have the experience of doing these 2 other playlists, and please go back and watch those, because I'm still going to be building off of the information we learned in those other 2 video playlists. So what I'm saying to you is that I'm going to give you the pieces, and it's up to you to put them together in your head, in your spirit, and between you and Yahushua and the Holy Spirit, your understanding. Because I can't do that. I can't do that for anyone. I can only do it for myself, okay? So I just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there. I'm presenting the pieces of information, the bits of information that I have received over time, and I'm now attempting to make sense of, okay? And with your help, we can make this happen. So the whole point of this playlist is that in 2022, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen in 2019, and something is going to happen in 2022. I'm talking about Hebrew years. The Hebrew years, New Year's is in April, and it goes from April to April. So April 2019 until April 2020 is 2019. It's one Hebrew year, okay? So we know at some point, either 2019 or 2022, we're going to have what people are considering the rapture, which we are calling the water event. It's when there's some kind of tsunami, either because of a missile or because of an asteroid that is pushed because of wormwood being planet X. And it will be bringing these asteroids to Earth, and either that is going to cause the flood that will take out one group of the bridal army. We have 5 groups to the bridal army. One group will be leaving in this event, or at least half of the group. So half of that group will be going home to be with the Father, or wherever people wherever they go, and the other half will stay here and join the other 4 groups of the bridal army. At that point, we will continue to minister and to help with the harvest, to bring people to Yahushua and the kingdom until the escape. So this is the premise I'm working on for people who have not been following me. It is scriptural, everything that I'm talking about. And if you're not sure, go back to the 2 playlists. I have this one that's about troll hunters, which is a highly prophetic cartoon, and then the second one is dealing with Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit, and The Hobbit, which is of course highly prophetic as well. And we use hidden Bible timelines, and we compare everything, and it all lines up, it all matches up. There's something building up to 2022. From my understanding at the moment, that is when, at least by that time, the Prince of Persia will be revealed. Okay, so in this playlist, I'm going to try to go back over these things and explain it again, okay? But it's so big, the pieces are so big. What I'm specifically understanding from this message is that I said in another video, either Yahushua will reprogram you or Satan will. Okay, and in that video, I was talking about how Pi is God's name, the name of the Father, and also the name of the Son, okay? And that is the numbers that make up creation, okay? Now, Satan has the same thing, and it's artificial. So we're talking about the artificial matrix, the computer, AI, and all of that. So I did a whole study about PI versus AI. You guys have to go back and catch up on this information. I can't rehash stuff that is so deep. You know, I will never get through a video. So please go back and look at that if you don't know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying here is that there's 2 activation codes. The bride, the 5 groups of the bridal army, we are being programmed and we are being activated in a natural way. That is us seeing these, what are called holy letters. People know them as numbers, but they're holy letters of His name. Again, that goes back to Exodus 3, verse 14, which is Pi. I am that Pi. So when you're seeing these holy letters, it is calling you and it is activating you. It's like in the TV show Travelers, which I will go over some of these movies because we have to learn to see Yahushua in these movies. We hear a lot about the Illuminati and all of that stuff, but there's both voices in these movies and videos, and we have to learn to see them, and we have to learn to see the deception in it. So as I've talked about before with the TV show Travelers, we are the travelers, but what they have done is they distorted and they changed the roles. They do the same thing in the Defenders. So the 5 Defenders actually have the qualities of the 5 groups of Satan's army. So for example, the one guy has 1 arm, which I've talked about, that being the false shepherd, right? And so they have usurped the role of the 5 groups of the bridal army, and they have inserted their own qualities, making them the heroes. Does that make sense? They've done the same thing with the messengers, where the messengers are us. But what they've done is they've taken the qualities of what the 5 groups of the bridal army are, and they've inserted it as being AI. So in real life, we are the messengers and we are serving the Most High God. In this TV show, the messengers are serving AI. Do you see what I mean? So they're constantly switching the roles. It's just like in the Broadway musical Wicked, where they make the evil witch, the wicked witch of the West, the green woman, they make her the protagonist. They make her the hero. Okay, so that's what they're doing in all these TV shows. They're mixing us up, making the good guy the bad guy and the bad guy the good guy. Okay, but when you have wakefulness theology, you can see the truth and you can still get the message that is there for us. They try to hide it, but they can't. They can't, because Yahushua is more powerful than they are. So, guys, I got off on a tangent a little bit. I don't know why that happened, but I remember why I went off that way, because I was talking about how troll hunters and the Lord of the Rings, it's the same situation with them. They are talking about us. We are the troll hunters. We are the hobbits in the Hobbit movie and in the Lord of the Rings. It's us, the groups of the bridal army, always, over and over. Okay, so Noam Chomsky, we're going to start with him right here because I did the whole series about troll hunters. Brother Richard Pipes. Shalom, Brother Pipes. He's a prophet. We've been corresponding for a while since he subscribed to my channel. And he is the one that pointed out the Janus point from the cartoon, because I missed that point. And it was such a big point that it spun into the second playlist that I did. So that was huge. So now Brother Richard writes me again on Thursday, 30/11. Now this is funny, from people that are with me on the Wakefulness Theology group on Facebook, 3/11, 3/11, 11/3. We've been talking about that for the past couple of days, or at least a week. It's right here, 3/11, 11/3. I'll explain that later. We just have to go piece by piece. So, hey there, Paula. Something I've known about for a while but didn't seem overly important is Noam Chomsky. The Lord has been prodding me on pointing this out. Do you know that Noam Chomsky is a real person? He wrote a document called Manufacturing Consent. You should definitely look into this. It's huge. Just Google his name. Peace and love in Yahushua and Yahuwah. Brother Richard also confirmed to me about the 5 groups, because at the time I was only saying there were 4, and I knew there were 5. I knew one group left, but he confirmed to me through, I forgot how he did it. I talked about it in one of these videos, but he confirmed that for me as well. So he is a very helpful. Thank you very much, Brother Richard, because this is a huge thing, and it is in fact kicking off this new play series. So Noam Chomsky from the Troll Hunters, this is the character right here. Troll Hunters is coming back now. We have the 2nd season, and I can't wait to look at it, but I can't look at it until I finish this, because I know it's going to make me crazy, and I need to finish this first. But you guys can look at it. If you have already seen the first playlist of Troll Hunters, and you're going to understand, because it decodes everything. It decodes the characters, the plot line, everything is decoded. So you're going to see right away. Your spirit man is going to be able to see and understand right away what the prophetic meaning of everything is. Okay, so go forth, my friends. Go forth and watch the show, and we'll talk about it after. So Noam Chomsky, I put this picture because I don't want anyone to say it's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's right here. It is existing connection between this man and gnomes. Okay, it is a thing. So it's not by accident or by chance. It is literally, this man is often referred to as a gnome. This is the point of this video, what you see on the screen right here. I'm going to try to explain it, and then I'm going to give you the evidence, and then wrap it up. All right. So gnome your enemy. I don't know if you can see very well right here, but it's the name of the episode. It's Troll Hunters Part 1, Episode 4. The name of it is Gnome Your Enemy. I want you to pay attention that this is 441, which would be 144. Now, for people who have been following me, I'm sure you know already that I didn't do that on purpose. Actually, I just noticed just now when I was doing putting the slide together. I didn't know. I don't try to make it be 441. That is what it is. Okay. So the fact that it's part 1 in episode 4, that is 14. 14 is very, very, very significant. I've talked about it in another video. You have Paul had 14 years before he started his ministry. You have Revelation 14, which is talking about the 144,000. You have Revelation 19:14, which is talking about the bridal army. It goes on forever and ever. If you look up 14, it is a huge number. For example, I got 2 menorahs, 2 lampstands by accident. I did not mean to order 2 lampstands, and I didn't expect to have it, and I got 2 lampstands on the day that Trump announced the Jerusalem move. So what I've started to understand is you have 7 branches here, and then 7 times 2 is 14. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2 lampstand verses of the 2 witnesses, 14 is the number. Okay, right here when I was doing the playlist for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and then I found this signet ring, and I explained that in the video, and it just happens that this signet ring has 14 markings on it. Okay, if you guys remember that. 14 is huge. This is 1/4 when you put it together. Picture 144 backwards. Okay, 144,000. So know your enemy, and I have a video about that as well. The enemy that Noam Chomsky is warning us about in real life. So in this episode, you see the gnome here. This, you will, brothers and sisters in Christ, you will help me so much if you do the work with me, okay? Sea troll hunters. Here is the episode where he is small. A long story, he got shrunk. And so he had to do his Spanish exam, and so he Skyped into class to do it. Now Noam Chomsky is there, and so they're fighting, okay? What I want you to notice is the shoe. The shoe. I've come to realize, oh my goodness, I have understood that the shoe, the one shoe, represents Yeshua. Yeshua. Every time you're saying the one shoe, it's Yeshua. I will show you in this playlist. I will show you. Just bear with me. Yeshua. Yeshua is right here. It's one shoe. And he's right here. That's one shoe. Okay? So we don't have all time. No. Need to fight at home. You're going to understand better what this picture represents at the end of the video. Noam Chomsky is trying to warn us about something very important, and we need to heed his warning. Okay, you see that he is trying to keep us from the computer, from this technology. So what is Noam Chomsky's message that is so important that we have to heed? This is going to be hard for me, saints, because I did not study this information. I have received the message in my spirit from Ruach HaKodesh, and I have eaten this information. I've chewed on it and digested it, and now I'm trying to show you, but this is not information I have studied. I have not. It just lines up. It just confirms the message. Noam Chomsky, this is just from Wikipedia. This is his information. He was born in Philadelphia. He was born in 1928, December 7th. I'm sure there's a lot of meaning in all of these things, and hopefully the idea is, as I go through, and you who are prophets and witnesses and parts of the bridal army, you will understand these things should start to be clicking in your mind, in your spirit. So he is a linguist, a philosopher, a cognitive scientist, a historian, a social critic, a political activist. Sometimes described as the father of modern linguistics. Chomsky is also a major figure in the analytic philosophy and one of the founders of the field of cognitive science. This is huge. Cognitive science, this is huge. This is exactly what's going on right now in the world with AI, that computer chip, and your brain. So these are his books. He holds a joint appointment as institute professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. This man knows what he is talking about, okay? We need to be listening to what is he talking about. He is born to the middle class, an Ashkenazi Jew. Okay, so if you'd like, feel free to pause and read more information about him here or look him up yourself. We have the basic idea, right? So Chomsky wrote this book called Manufacturing Consent. This is a little bit of information about that. The Political Economy of the Mass Media is in 1988 book. This is huge, 88. I have a whole video about 88. It means it's about talking about the time travel. 88 is representing the beast system that we need to get out of and be separated from. It's huge, 88. 1988 right here. So he wrote this book with this guy here, and in which the authors proposed that the mass communication media of the U.S. are effective and powerful ideological institutions that carry out a system-supportive propaganda function by reliance on market forces, internalized assumptions, and self-censorship, and without overt coercion, by means of the propaganda model of communication. So the title derives from the phrase, the manufacture of consent, employed in the book Public Opinion. All right. So pretty much the book is explaining what we already know, that you have the problem, reaction, solution, which is that they manufacture a problem and they wait for us to react in a way that they expected us to react, and then they have a pre-approved solution that they already had in advance before, that they wanted to do, ready to roll out. And so our consent has been prepared, okay? And they use the media for this. I think 99% of our media, if not 100, it probably is 100, but I'll just be optimistic and say 99% of our media is propaganda. Okay, and if you're not there with it, if you're not understanding that, then please, you have some research to do. You can start with this book. I haven't read the book, but it seems like he breaks it down in that book. So, hey, start there. But it is absolutely true. It is propaganda, all of it. Okay, and I will be showing you more later in the video. So without I haven't read his book, like I said, so let's just see the main points that he is talking about. So here's some quotes. The most effective way to restrict democracy is to transfer decision-making from the public arena to unaccountable institutions. So that would be kings and princes, priestly castes, the military, party dictatorships, or modern corporations. If you want to restrict democracy, then you don't let the stupid sheeple make the choices. Okay, just to rephrase what he's saying here. Okay, that's my interpretation. The smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion, but allow lively debate within that spectrum. That is the dopest quote ever. Like, I know people don't say dope anymore, but hey, they have just gotten rid of net neutrality. And why have they gotten rid of it? Money is part of it, but the real reason is this right here. Because when you have 2 or 3 main companies that are owned by the same people, and they are the ones giving the official story, then all you have to do is debate the official story. Okay, but the internet as it is right now, you have me, you have everybody and their mama got a voice, and everybody and their mama can put their 2 cents in. And so then you have these different competing opinions to choose from and to understand. In the middle of everybody's different opinions is the truth, right? So the more ideas you have, the closer to the truth we can get. They don't want this. They don't want us to be knowledgeable. They don't want us to be educated. They want us to be dumbed down, stupid, and complacent, right? This is what they want. If you don't know that, I hope you catch up really, really fast, because we don't have time to lose here, okay? So that is what he's saying right now, that the net neutrality is a perfect example of that. They want to narrow the lane. They want 2 or 3 opinions that might seem to disagree, but actually they are not. And we can debate within that framework. Okay, and that's how it works. It always has been. It probably always will be until Jesus come back. So it'll always be that way until Yahushua comes back. What did I put here next? So inside his book, these are the main points, the 5 fillers of editorial bias. So the propaganda motto for the manufacturer of public consent describes 5 editorially distorted filters which are applied to the reporting of news and mass communications media. So the size, ownership, and profit organization. They must cater to the financial interest of the owners. I'm going to kind of skim because you can read for yourself. The advertising license to do business. And these advertisers have acquired a de facto licensing authority. So they have to cater to political prejudices and economic desires of the advertisers. And we know this is true because we live it here on YouTube. When you have a video and they say it's not advertiser friendly or whatever, it's their way of censorship again, for the purpose of keeping us into like only having 1 or 2 voices to choose from, right? Which is at the end the same voice. So sourcing mass media news, they're saying that these huge conglomerates, media conglomerates, they have special access to news, and their contribution to reducing the media's cost of acquiring and producing news. So they have a routine of news sources and privileged access to the gates. We also know that it's scripted. You can see that on the joke from Conan O'Brien. He does that skit. He does that segment where he shows the news broadcasters and they're saying the same thing. So it's scripted, you know, from all over the country that they're saying the same thing. It's a script. Flack refers to negative responses to a media statement or program. So complaints or lawsuits. And this can be expensive. That also deters what kind of facts that they report on. And anti-communism. Anti-communism was replaced by the war on terror. Yes, as the major social control mechanism. That's really good point, Mr. Chomsky. So these 5 points are what is making our media biased, and it is keeping them from being able to report true news. They are owned. They have financial interests. They have the pressures of advertising. They have the pressure of social media. They have the pressure of the bureaucracy, and they have the pressure of lawsuits or legislative actions, and they have also the government pushed agendas as well that they have to conform to. So editorial distortion is aggravated by the news media dependence upon private and governmental news sources. If a given newspaper, television station, magazine, etc. incurs disfavor from the sources, it is subtly excluded from access to information. Consequently, it loses readers or viewers and ultimately advertisers. To minimize such financial disaster, news media businesses editorially distort their reporting to favor government and corporate policies in order to stay in business. Boom, shakalaka, boom. Where's my microphone? It's time to drop the microphone and walk away. This is true. You guys know it. It's called Living Your Life. You should know this, man.
And you know this, man.
So what else is he talking about in his book, Linguistic Theory? And this is talking about cognitive revolution. So the whole argument here is pretty much the argument from between nature and nurture. So in general, what he's saying is that universal grammar, he's saying that the knowledge is at least primarily inborn. So he bases his argument on the observations about human language acquisition, noting that there is an enormous gap between the linguistic stimuli to which children are exposed and to the rich linguistic knowledge they attain. So for example, although children are exposed to only a finite subset of allowable syntactic variants within their first language, they somehow acquire the ability to understand and produce an infinite number of sentences, including ones that have never been uttered. So to explain this, Chomsky reasoned that the primary linguistic data must be supplemented by an innate linguistic capacity. Therefore, while a human baby and a kitten are both capable of inducive reasoning, if they are exposed to exactly the same linguistic data, the human will always acquire the ability to understand and produce language, while the kitten will never acquire this ability. So what he's saying is that inside of us, we have this innate ability to understand language. And what I am proposing to you guys is we're talking about language, we're talking about the holy letters, we're talking about the name of God. It is in us. It is that light. Yes. What? Okay? We're talking about the difference between nature and nurture. We know God. Nobody got to teach us. Nobody has to teach us. He is in us, okay? This is language for me. When he's talking about linguistic theory, when he's talking about grammar, when he's talking about language, Yahushua, John 1:1, he is the word. You with me? So it seems on one level that this is all very academic, but it is spiritual. This is spiritual, okay? Nature versus nurture. This is our nature, language. He is proving that our nature is language. All right, guys, this is, I know you might not know where I'm going right now, but just keep following me, please. It's just as difficult for me to explain it to you as it is for you to follow me, but I hope you're with me. They are programming us with music, films, and TV, also commercials, especially the children. And this is going to lead to Satan's army, okay? As I said, we are being activated by Pi, by the Most High Father, and Satan's army is going to become activated by this Janus code. I think it's called something like a Janus activation code or something like that is what they're calling it. And I did that whole series about Janus, explaining the duality and the goddess and what it means. Go back and look at those videos if you missed it, please. Satan's army is going to be awakened, activated by some kind of artificial code that has to do with AI, the computer chip. They're going to be activated in artificial ways through technology and through the MK Ultra programming. Guys, I know this is true because what you see on the screen are my artworks, my pictures. I'm not an artist at all, but when I lived in New York, from 96 until 99, I lived in New York and I went to school. And these are some of the pictures I was drawing when I lived in New York before I came to Paris. Now, I started in 99. I didn't get a computer until 2004. And that's when I woke up. That's when God gave me, Yahushua blessed me with the spiritual eyes and the spiritual ears and so forth in 2004. That's when I flipped out. But I started seeing the holy letters in 1999, way before a computer, okay? Way before a computer. I didn't even have a cell phone at that time. I think I got my first cell phone in 2000, maybe. Years later, when I looked back after, because it was after 2004 when I learned about the Illuminati and all of this stuff, I looked back and looked, it was in me. It was in me. It was in me. It's funny because in me sounds like enemy. In me, in me, in me. When you say enemy fast, it sounds like in me. Wow. Look at this. Pyramid with the all-seeing eye. And when you put these pictures, you know you have to put them upside down and things. If you use your spiritual eye, if I turn the picture, you will be able to see that this is like some kind of serpent and it is coming to eat this here. This is his mouth, and this is like the hair because it's like, whoosh. It's kind of like, feed me, Seymour, feed me all night long, like that plant going, shh.
Do it, feed me, Seymour, feed me all night long.
Trying to eat, it's right here. I don't want to take the time to break down my psychological thoughts from 20 years ago, but I just want to show you that it was already present. I was already downloaded with it. Do you see what I mean? This one right here, triangles, pyramids, everywhere, everywhere. The spoon, there is no spoon from the Matrix. Do you remember that right here? People who have prophetic vision, you will be able to see what this is. There's a pyramid here. If you have spiritual eyes, you'll be able to see. This is an eye, like a snake eye, looking in, huh? And then I had this, because I was seeing all these numbers. It's the same, like this is the evil side that I was seeing and feeling. But here, God was trying to talk to me. It was subconsciously, like trying to put all the pieces of this puzzle together. These are numbers, right? And I didn't know, my spirit, my mind didn't know what to make of it. But because I'm an artist, it was all mixed up and jumbled up inside of me. Okay. So when I left America, I had a tragedy. My boyfriend at the time, he was murdered. He was my ex-boyfriend. We had just broken up, but I didn't expect to never see him again. I had thought we would get back together or something. Nope, that didn't happen. He was murdered. It was terrible. They still haven't found his murderer. It was a terrible, terrible time in my life. And on top of going through that, I was becoming aware just in my feelings. My mind didn't get it, but my feelings just felt this overwhelming presence trying to make me think and feel a certain way. It was like, every time you walk down the street, every time, always, always. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out. All right. So what I'm trying to show you is what I'm saying is not philosophical or theoretical. I lived this programming. Okay. When I was a child, I remember, I think it was Edmund's or Edelman's ice cream. And it was the commercial where the kid goes, "Oh, I feel good." Actually, it's a baby, and the baby is just sitting there, and then she jumps up and she goes, "I feel good." And she starts dancing.
Evidently, it's not your normal.
Feel good. Dun-dun-dun. And so when I was a kid, I thought that was the most hysterical thing I had ever seen. And we were at the store one day, and my mom said, "Do you want Edelman's or Edmund's ice cream?" And we were like, "Yay, yay." We were so happy. Like we thought we were going to have that experience, you know. And we got home, and when we ate the ice cream, that was the most nasty, disgusting ice cream I ever had in my life. It tasted like just chemicals. It was just nasty. And I was so disappointed. And that's when I realized that that feeling I had was because of the commercial. And that's when I realized that it's real. Guys, I don't have time in this video to go back and talk about this more in depth, but please do look at some of these movies that they explain that advertising is based on Freud, and they are using psychological warfare on us through friggin' commercials since the beginning of it. Okay, so do your research on that. This is real. Your children, us, especially children, because they're very vulnerable, are being programmed. Please hear me, saints. So, that's why. So here we're back to Chomsky again. So this is news media and propaganda. Please pause it, read it for yourself. In response to the labeling of his own thoughts as conspiracy theory, Chomsky has replied that it is very rational for the media to manipulate information in order to sell it like any other business. He asks whether General Motors would be accused of conspiracy if they deliberately selected what they would use or disuse to sell their product. So that is a great point of what he's saying. I really hate that conspiracy theory. It's very easy to dismiss everything by just saying, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory," and you never even look into what the person is saying, you know. So he does very well in explaining right here that both sides of that point. So again, guys, I didn't go into more detail on searching Chomsky. So if he's very political and he's an activist, I don't know if he's spiritual at all. So I'm not condoning or supporting whatever political or religious activities or action this man has in real life. What I'm doing is what I'm doing is trying to show that Troll Hunters is prophetic. One of the messages in Troll Hunters was Noam Chomsky. They are warning us about something having to do with this man. This is what this man, who he is and what he says. So now let's try to see if we can find the meaning as far as the cartoon is concerned. So I have all of this stuff cooking in me, right? And turning in me. And then I saw Black Child's video right here, Colin Kaepernick, Boule Illuminati, Faux Wakefulness. I suggest that you look at that if you can. Because it shows how this propaganda and this manipulation of our whole society forms our opinions on things in a way that is good for the evil controllers, okay? This whole thing is fake. This is not real. This is not real. It's fake. It's something that has been a problem, reaction, solution. That is what this is. Guys, this has something, the message that I'm going to try to unfold to you over this playlist has to do with Beyonce. It has to do with Jay-Z. These people and this sports guy right here and all of these celebrities, they are programming us. They are programming the children. And when it comes time, they're going to flip, okay? And it's going to hurt a lot of children, a lot of us, okay? It's just like the Disney programming. It's just like the Disney programming where they get the girls when they're young and they're wholesome, you know, like Britney Spears when she was young and pure, and all of the Mouseketeers and all of these children when they're young, and then they get the kids hooked on them as fans, and then they grow up and they become these horrible they become these horrible things, you know. And it's the same with this. It's just, it's not a Disney programming, but it's the same kind of thing where they're sucking us all in with these sports stars and these music stars and these TV stars, and then when it's time, they're going to flip the switch, and all these people are going to follow these people to hell. Okay, it is an activation code that is going to happen, and it's going to be in music. I'm saying music, but probably, you know, and other things as well, but especially music. So guys, if you have time, look at this. I think he explains, I'm not saying the video, I'm not saying the video was a great video. What I'm saying is that it explains what I'm trying to say, okay? So that was a part of the puzzle that got me to understand. So if you guys, hopefully you understand now. Do you understand the message? Know your enemy. What he's saying is know your enemy. And your enemy is this computer right here, is this cell phone right here, is all the technology, 5G, it's the Oculus glasses, it's the AI, it's all of that we've been talking about all this time. So know your enemy, which in the end is Satan, because he's going to be using AI. He's building his kingdom using AI, right? And this technology. Know your enemy. The enemy that Noam Chomsky is warning us about in real life, okay? Here we see that Noam Chomsky is trying to keep Jim from being on the computer and the cell phone. And here we have Yahushua here. So Yahushua is behind everything that's going on in this scene. Yahushua is behind it, telling us, warning us that we don't have all the time in the world. We have a short amount of time. And we need to fight at home. There's a message here, and like I said, I don't know if this means no, we need to fight at home, or if it means no, we don't need to fight at home. I don't know, no. What I'm doing is I'm giving you the message, and then together we can really get down to the nitty gritty, or you can decide for yourself what that means. But I know for me that it is definitely warning that we must be aware that this is our enemy. Okay, they are trying to program us. They are trying to hijack reality, and you say usurp the role of God. Guys, I just saw a video. I didn't expect to put it in this video, but I am. I just saw a video from here, Pockets of the Future, and he was explaining how AI can change faces, they can change videos, and they can change voices. And they can create people who don't exist that you're going to see on TV or the internet, and these people don't even exist. So what I'm saying is that AI is about to hijack reality. Like, you won't be able to believe your own eyes and your own ears if you don't have Yahushua. If Yahushua isn't showing you and telling you what is real, you will not believe. You cannot believe anything that you cannot see and hear from Yahushua showing you and telling you that this is true. This is where we have the Matthew verse talking about even the elect would be deceived, that the deception is going to be so great. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning of the deception. Can you imagine how crazy this is going to be? No one is going to be able to tell the difference. That's why we need right now to be getting strong. That's why right now we need to be building that relationship. That's why right now we need to be getting clarity so that we can hear him and see him and follow him clearly. Because that's the only way any of us is going to get through this. And that's why I got off of Facebook. I'm on Facebook for the ministry, but I got off of Facebook as far as my personal life because it's so sad. Because my friends and family, they're putting my nieces and nephews and cousins, babies on Facebook and on Instagram, and they don't understand that they are feeding the children to the beast. You are feeding your children to the beast when you do that. You need to protect your children from this as long as possible and as much as possible, and to educate them as soon as possible on this danger. This is a huge danger. Our children are being programmed by Satan to be activated, and the younger ones are to be activated and turned into his army to worship AI and to worship the man of sin. Perdition is coming. It's not time to go in the clouds. It's time to prophesy for the 3 to 4.5 years, 3.5 years, starting on April 19th, 2018, for 3.5 years until the Prince of Persia arrives by the 4.5 years, is what I'm understanding. So please, I know I've said a lot of stuff here, but this is what I'm understanding the message to be. Know your enemy. This is your enemy. Why is it your enemy? Noam Chomsky just broke it down. Okay. So that is the end of the first part, guys. Chomsky, we just finished him. So the next video, I'm going to revisit Janus and talk about Janus and Black Child. Now, Black Child's, in one of his videos, he talked about this Satan's army. He also talked about Janus, and that put 2 and 2 together for me. So I'm going to explain that in the next video, and then in the video after, I'm going to try to explain the 2 lamps that happened to me on the day that Trump announced the Jerusalem move, and these dreams, and the 1919 and the 1414, and God only knows. I can't. It's right now. It's just it's inside of me like this. You know, it's just like if you take a bunch of food. This is the Bible, by the way. If you just take a bunch of food and you just like and you eat everything, and then inside of you everything is all mixed up. So all of these messages that I'm getting, it's all just mixed up. So I'm trying to pull it out like one piece at a time. So as this unravels, hopefully we will be able to see clearer. But the whole end of the story is that this trail leads to 2022. Okay. The only thing I understand that I think what I'm understanding at the moment is that we will have the man of perdition, we will have the prince of Persia being the king of Persia by this time, meaning April 2023. Okay. So let's stop here for now. I will continue next week with the next episode, the next piece to this puzzle. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's a blessing to you. If something's not clear, if I missaid something, please guys, leave me a message. Come join us on Facebook, Wakefulness Theology group if you are already on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, then never mind. Don't get on Facebook. It's a terrible thing. But if you're already there, join us and we can talk about this stuff, and together we can put the pieces together to really understand well the messages that Yahushua and Ruach HaKodesh is trying to tell us and want us to know and want us to tell others. Okay, it's time to prophesy, it's time to minister, it's time to work the fields and bring as many people to Yahushua as possible at this time. Yes, saints, yes, 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 yes. All right, thank you for watching. God bless you. Holy is Christ and peace, amen. Shalom, saints.